Good morning and welcome back, everybody. I've been wanting to do this video as well. This has kind of been just something I have thought about for so many years. When I see on YouTube the amount of large, obese, morbidly obese, fat, I always call them myself juicy. It's because what my ex-husband used to call me. He would say, "You're not fat, you're just juicy." Anyways, all those cute little names that we had for ourselves, that we have for ourselves, that gives us a lot of, that good positive body image, which I'm glad that we have, because growing up, that really wasn't around. You had to buy, if you were chubbier, you had to buy your clothes in Sears chubby girl section, and they really didn't have much to choose from then. And I remember I did wear private uniforms, so it wasn't that bad of a problem, but every Friday we would have kind of a free day. That started later on. And I remember Gloria Vanderbilt jeans were really in, and they had a pair in the fat girls shop that were pink Gloria Vanderbilt cords. And I remember getting them and feeling like, oh my God, this is so great, because you really just could not get them in the 80s. You couldn't find the same sort of things. Really, juicy girls now have it a lot easier. But that does also bring on its own set of things that you guys have going on that I wouldn't have had going on back then, such as being able to find really good clothes. That is really good. However, does it keep you that way? The reason I would always lose weight when I was younger was because you really couldn't find clothes, and you couldn't find any of the cute stuff. And if you wanted to have a prom dress, you would have to hope that you could diet yourself and get yourself into that size 14, 16, but the 16 was pretty huge too and harder to find. So it was pretty much hoping you could do that, or have your mother or somebody else you knew sew you one, which was the worst possible scenario because you really wanted. And I was in high school. I remember I went to prom 3 times, 2 of my own and 1 of a separate one. And I remember really wanting to, 2 of them I could wear a normal, normal 14 size dress. The last one was when I was probably 18, and it was all that Prince vanity, all that lace glove things were out. And so I really kind of did a makeshift version of what I wanted. I got this white lace jacket and white lace gloves, did it all up like Madonna, and it looked pretty cool. But, I had to use with my friends in Minneapolis. We had to be very creative with that. And it was hard. It was hard because you wanted to look normal. So fast forward now to the 20,000s, the year 2000. And we have all of this fat acceptance going around, which is good. But immediately when I saw it, I said, oh no, is this going to promote that being fat is okay? And of course, under God's eye, we're all seen and loved. And I truly don't think anybody is more or less beautiful because they lose weight. I used to always hear, you have such a pretty face if you would, just lose weight. And I never had a problem ever. I wasn't one of those girls that ever had a problem finding boyfriends. So maybe that's what gave me some self-esteem back then. But, I think personally, I just think if you're ugly, you're ugly. There are some certain people that, like me right now, I have a lot more fat going to my face. When I take off more weight, more of it comes off around there. So it actually does look better because my face, my fat has kind of fluctuated as to where it pops up so often because I've had liposuction, so it'll pop up someplace different. But You know, it leaves for a real sedentary lifestyle, and especially in some of our cultures, like in the African American cultures where, um, they really do love the big butts and the whole curvy, juicy, big, that whole body thing. And that's body positive, and that's really great. And you really are loved, but it's really unhealthy for you. It's really unhealthy for you. Um, and the reason I'm not going to make this video very long, but it's weighed on my heart. Now, I just saw a video of Amy Vlogs, and Amy Vlogs, I like watching your videos. What I saw you in, I think it's your, like your hijab that you wear, you're a Muslim woman, and I thought it would be pretty. I thought that white band that you had across the black top part was all rhinestones. I thought that that would be so pretty if you had that. So if I make one of those one day, because I'm going to be starting to make things out of rhinestones, out of Swarovski crystals, like chokers and bracelets and decorate bottles. That's going to be kind of my thing that I do. I don't know if you're able to wear one of those on top of there, but I would love to make you one for on top of there, because that looked just really chic. Because I know that there's not a lot that you can do with it, but that looked really cool. That's a side note. And I saw you doing your exercises, lifting your legs, and every single move you make, every single word that you say is something that I have uttered in the past. It is. I am 5'6.5" right now, and I just got off the scale a couple days ago, and I am 248 pounds right now. As I've said for many times, I'm suffering to get down to just 199. I have really large breasts, so it makes me look even larger. So I would like to maybe even get a little bit smaller beyond that. But I was 500 pounds. When I move, because I will be moving in the end of December, beginning of January, I will try to bring out more pictures. I really don't have a lot of them, but I did make sure I saved some. And I was 480 pounds to be exact beforehand to go in, but that was my highest weight, was 480 pounds, and I was 5'6". And at that point I was still, relatively younger. I believe that was done in 2006, 5. So I would have been like probably 37 years old. And so I could still do things, get up and get off the ground. There wasn't any problems. I was traveling around. I didn't have any problems like that, but they were all around the corner. So I had this procedure called a duodenal switch. It's where they literally cut out 70 to 80% of your stomach. They don't just band it off anything else. They actually cut it off. Yes, it can be stretched. Even the cutoff can be stretched. I did like that idea because it wasn't like you have dead stomach hanging there. I did like having it just gone. The other part of it is they shorten your common channel from about 1,500 inches down to about 100. So you only absorb the last 100 centimeters. So forever, I will never weigh 480 pounds again. There's never a way that I can get back up to weighing 480 pounds away. It's basically impossible. And that's what saved me. If I would have had any of the other weight loss surgeries, I would have been up there. Back at the time when I had this surgery done, it was called like the Rolls Royce of surgery, saved for people who are extremely morbidly obese. And every person that I have mentioned in my title, that would go for you. Where I went was the University of Minnesota, and he basically, his name was Dr. Buchwald, and a little Jewish Italian, no, Jewish guy from New York, very thin, and he had helped to invent this surgery, and it was meant to keep people's arteries clean. Like if you're not eating the fats, you can't absorb it. Does that mean you're going to keep your arteries clean? And this was the side effect. So really right now, the majority of weight that I'm keeping off right now, because I can feel that I've stretched and I've already had a revision to take some more of my stomach off. But the reason I'm still a success, and the reason when I go back in there, they still pass me around to people and say, this was one of my first patients, and this is the weight that she's maintained, over half of her body weight that she's maintained off, is because of that malnourished part of it. There really, I don't believe, there's a lot of long-term studies done on what possibly harm you could do to your body by that. I know that I do have to get my blood taken quite often. I have to take more than what I'm taking right now, and it's so easy to let it get out of control because I am very low on vitamin D right now. There are some medications that we kind of have come to the realization, the doctors and myself, that I would need more of an antidepressant for it to actually work, or if something came in liquid form, because I wasn't absorbing it. And there's things that they didn't think of along the way that now in 2019, if a person has it, they're thinking more along the lines of all that. They really are thinking. I am leaving my email address for anybody who wants to talk about this. And the reason, and this is going to be very controversial that I say this. I'm going to say this to Amberlynn Reid. I'm going to say this to Foodie Beauty, the beautiful Foodie Beauty. Amberlynn Reid, I see you sit there. There's a picture of myself with my long, 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 beautiful hair, just like yours, straight. And I did my makeup. I had different necklaces on, and it was, girl, that you were me. I say this to the Slaton sisters. I say this to Amy's vlogs, who just recently has had a health scare with having diabetes, and she's got a family. I say this to the beautiful hungry fat chick who lives so close to me, and I would love to meet with you. And I don't work for a company. I don't get anything from this. I just know that it saves people's lives. And I know when I listen to the people, like today I listened to the, and forgive me for not using a word that sounds less rude, but it sounds like the excuses that I gave, that you need to find the reason why. You need to find, all of that is so true, girl. All of that is so true. But you're a ticking time bomb. And studies have shown, as well as you could probably look around at people in your life, when you get up that high, you need medical intervention to help get the weight off of you. Whether or not you just get a reprieve for a while and you gain it back, you need the help. There's not a lot of people who take off that much take off that much weight on their own. Sure, if you only have, 100 pounds to lose, or something around that nature, that can happen, but you're wasting so many years of your life, girls. And I'm telling you this, please listen to me. I didn't do it. You know why I didn't do it? And I'm tearing up thinking about it because I so mean this. I didn't do it because I didn't want to stop eating. I didn't want to get rid of my crutch. I like to eat. It was my drug of choice my whole entire life. And I still eat. The problem now, which is the great problem, is it runs right through me, and I pay the price. And you have, and I'm, please TMI, turn this off for the people who don't want to know, but if you eat bad things for you, you have poop, feces that smell absolutely horrid because it doesn't have time to form. So much so that I remember right away when I first had it, and I was still working at a different job, and we had to go to a hotel room and share a room. And I remember just not eating and being terrified and looking out for where the hotel room had bathrooms in the lobby. That's what's going to happen. You will pay the price. So no longer are you in charge of that. Now, if you do stretch your stomach back out, look at me. I'm 240 pounds. I'm not thin. I have to do the rest on my own, but I'm at a weight to where I'm not looked at by everybody. I don't have diabetes. I don't have high blood pressure. If I don't get some more weight off now because of my age, those things are coming around the corner. I do have issues regarding all the damage that I did to my lower back. So I think about you, Amy, because of all the damage. And I was still trying to, when I was higher weights like that, I was still trying to wear heels. When I was in my 30s, I was wearing heels. Really so stupid, but I was. But the surgery part of it is simple. You'll get your pain medications. You'll be a little bit grouchy because it's like it's something, what do you replace it with? But once you have a couple of bites and you feel like that feeling after you had Thanksgiving, you're like, oh God, get food away from me. I don't even want food. That part's so simple. That part really is simple. The hard part right now is just the deciding, and you're not going to die. Girl, Amy, I thought I was going to die. I had to have a hysterectomy at the same time because I was bleeding profusely with fibroids, and I would bleed down to like 4.5 hemoglobin level every month and have to have transfusions. And I was so afraid to die. I would lay there and have nightmares every night that I'm going to die, that I'm going to die. It was so irrational. And I got this beautiful Indian woman doctor who got me in the University of Minnesota. And she said, Kathleen, we're taking you right now to have the surgery. Like, I didn't have any choice. Because machines couldn't fit me and things I wouldn't fit in. And all this stuff is just like, and she's just like, let us take care of you. Let us take care of you. And I remember my mom and dad were there for me, and my soon-to-be husband was in Arizona, who loved me at any weight. And the last thing I remember saying to my mom, she was trying to learn Hebrew, was she looked down the hall and she said to me with tears in her eyes very early in the morning, and she said, Kadima, Kadima, which in Hebrew means forward, go forward. And I went forward and trusted it. I just trusted it. And it was okay. And you girls, all of you girls will be okay. I'd swear to you, what you'll get mad about is the time you wasted. Now, I believe you're all in your 30s. That's when I had it. That's why I do it now. Don't waste time. It's not a hard surgery. It's not. I mean, you're going to get some pain for something, a little of adjusting something, but I'm telling you, you will be in for months and months of a honeymoon period. You can just basically whip away and throw away your antidepressants because you are in the honeymoon period, where a lot of times other obsessions or other addictions form. Like for me, one thing I had to worry about was a shopping addiction formed. Thankfully, I didn't go to an alcohol or drug or anything else like that. I went to the shopping one, which isn't good. So it's not without any faults at all, but you're alive. And maybe you can watch that and monitor that more. That it wasn't as known as much when I had mine done about all that stuff. Now they really do send you home very prepared, and you will lose weight. Like, hey, you will wake up every morning feeling like suddenly you can just take those extra. I swear to you, I promise you, I would not steer my fellow chubby sisters wrong. You would not regret this at all. Really. I look at you and I know that each one of you doesn't want to, and I hear the excuses, that the things that I said, because I just faked my way through the whole psych test and what they wanted to say and all my nutrition classes and whatever. And I think most people are so just headstrong on getting there. And our mind is so messed up from our horrible relationship with food that the people giving us the test try to understand it as much as they can, but they can't. And the big thing is just getting the weight off of us, because the weight's going to kill us. So just pick this time to, like, I just pictured myself like every day grabbing huge hunks of fat off of me and just throwing it in the garbage can, because that's what it felt like. You were just literally melting away. And then you will have enough energy and everything else to tackle everything else. But if you do get the duodenal switch, which does have that added safety of never being able to absorb as much, you will never go back to that larger weight. Like the surgery that, say, Miss Effing Wonderful did, Katie, I can see it right now. She's a candidate who will gain everything back. That's why most people go back, because they don't choose that part of it. They're just focusing just on the stomach, but literally you're only going to absorb about 10% of what you eat. So you can't possibly eat enough to make yourself get up to those calories. And they give you classes and everything like that. And I'm not an expert, but I do know a lot of people, because I still go to the bariatric support groups online. And because I had a revision, because I wanted to get this weight down even more, so I wanted them to take off more stomach and shorten my channel even more. I can tell you more depth into the story if any of you want to know. But that's my email address, and I will put my phone number in there. I have connections in California with Dr. K, who is the best doctor there that everybody goes to. I have connections in Minnesota, and I have connections in Florida with 3 different places that do this. This is and each one of you would qualify for it because of your weights. So that's one good thing, girls, about being morbidly obese. One good thing with that. But I love you all like you're my sisters. I love you all. I am you. I will always be you. We know how it feels to be looking for the chair that has the arm that will go up and down. We know the safety belt, seat belt thing. We know when you want to eat and you want to make sure you have enough food. We know the different quirks that we all have in our relationship with it. And when you didn't have the food, it was so depressing. But that's what I was so afraid of, that I was going to be stuck with no food and I'm going to feel that way. But you know what? You don't feel that way, because it's like, how even after, say, some of you guys are bingers, after you're binging, I never was that, but let's just say, and you're so full, you're like, oh, it's the one time you're like, get the food away from me. That's how you feel. So imagine feeling like that. You really aren't missing the food. And literally, when you do sneak things back into your diet, you can, and I'm telling you the wrong way, so I'm not telling you to do it. I'm not saying this, but I'm saying you can put the things that you shouldn't eat. With this diet right now, it doesn't have the dumping syndrome like the gastric bypass. If anything, don't go for the gastric bypass. That's the most archaic of the ones. The gastric bypass does have better results than just the sleeve does, but the sleeve with the malabsorption is the one that you want, the duodenal switch. And you do have to have medications altered, because you need to have higher dosages of things, because you don't, or getting things fat soluble. Like my vitamins have to be fat soluble. And they are more expensive like that too. But if you have good insurance, they understand that and they pay for that. But those are all the questions. And I see every single one of you, how beautiful you are now, but how healthy and beautiful you would feel later on. So if any of you need to talk, please, my number or my email is in the description box. If you email me, I will gladly give you my number and be your partner through this and talk to you and answer any questions that you have, because waiting is not the answer, because you're just not, and it's not like being a naysayer, but you're not going to do it on your own. So basically take this time to eat whatever you want, because you're not going to do it on your own. It's too overwhelming. We were too far gone. And you do see those few instances, and don't worry, to die on the operating table or off is so completely rare. It's so rare. It's not going to happen, but you're going to get your life back. And anyways, with that, I will let you go. Thank you for listening to me. Come back and see me again, and please feel free to email me at that email address in the description box. Take care. Bye-bye.